All right. I think I'm live and also on YouTube. So, good everybody here and excited to be able to share with you guys some of the things that I've been doing within business ownership and real estate investing. Now, my background is 20-year Air Force and started my entrepreneur career by doing some network marketing. That was the first time. So, that was a great experience, and I learned a lot. And I also learned after doing network marketing is I owned, started a salon, and this was while I was in the military. And it's kind of funny story of my ex-wife coming home and saying, "Hey, I got an opportunity for you," and it's a salon that is for sale, and I'm like, "Wow." What I realized in owning that salon is I didn't do hair or nails, but I really liked the tanning beds that were in there. And what was fun about it is that a lot of income came through the winter and from people, or right when it was becoming summer, and then during the winter, everybody was getting their hair and nails done. So it was a phenomenal business. And what I learned is that when I paid rent, it went to the commercial building. So my now I am a real estate investor, and what I like to do is teach and train people a lot about money and principles of business, and also take in and help people if you have questions, what that would look like if you were going to start or expand a business. And so I own a credit repair company. I'm a coach around business. And also, I help people get access to the capital and then source the capital into business. So, so the entrepreneurial side of myself is to support people that really want to, learn more about business and principles and then get involved in real estate investing. And right now, currently, I'm in 7 real estate deals, just closed a triplex, another triplex. But it's also understanding the principles that I'm borrowing the money to be able to go make more money. So there's a few principles I'd like to teach, and it's called the 7-day investor blueprint. And the 7-day investor blueprint in understanding real estate investing is how money works. And a lot of people, get they don't understand the concept because they've been trained on how to save for retirement. Retirement for people that want to retire at 65, that's a great philosophy, especially if you have a job. But if you want to be a business owner and you want cash flow, then the ability to invest right now into yourself and invest into cash flow is a different principle than going out there and trying to save for retirement. So you got to have a different mindset. So, number one principle is mindset, having a different philosophy, changing it from accumulation to cash flow. Change it from accumulation to cash flow. Welcome, Viv. Welcome, Em. And that philosophy change is changing it from a I'm going to save one day to I'm going to retire one day. I'm not going to retire. I'm going to live on cash flow. So, as a real estate investor, I have to understand how to borrow money, take the money, put it into real estate, and to be able to create cash flow. It's very similar to business, but there might be a couple things that other, if you've been down this road to be an entrepreneur and might have failed, it might have been because you picked the wrong business, the connection, the philosophies. And when I got started, it was network marketing. And I got to tell you, that was make little money and the NFL club. And I learned all the acronyms. But as soon as I switched from owning a salon, I learned that profit and loss is the best thing. And then changing the mindset from accumulation to cash flow. And so let me jump into the 7 principles, or the 7-day investor blueprint. 7-day investor blueprint is number one, the mindset. You got to have the right mindset. Number two, and I'm going to dig into some money right now. If you have debt and you would like to get out of debt, then learning the principles of understanding a line of credit. So I can't go into all the details, but if you are interested, you can go to buyanoldchallenge.com/7-day blueprint. Okay. Buyandholdchallenge.com/7-day blueprint. And if you do that, in the training, it's how to get out of debt utilizing different um, tools in business, lines of credit, also raising capital. And this starts this is what started my entrepreneur career and becoming a coach. So the only way I can do it is to share a story. So Josh came to me and said, James, how come you get to travel and do what you want? I said, well, number one, I didn't like working for other people. And the military, working 2 jobs and 3 jobs, was just not fun. And so I wanted to change my principle of money, making money, and getting involved in business. And so that was probably the most important thing that I wanted to learn, how money works as it pertains to business. And he goes, how can you help me get out of debt when I'm doing it? So number one, debt. The simplicity of debt is that the I wish I could draw on a picture. So maybe I'll do this. So draw a T, draw a T. So very similar to that. Okay. And there's 4 quadrants of money. And I'm going to get into training right now. And I'm really excited. So the 4 quadrants of money is not employee, self-employed, business owner, and investor. It's that the the tax code works short term and long term. So short term tax code is on the left, it's below the line and above the line. So on the left, you have below the line, and on above, you have right line. This is short term, and then you have long term. And so if you can relate to the box and understand, most people do not have cash flow at the end of the month because our education system has taught people to save one day someday to retirement. So when you get a job, the first thing is they take the money out and they put it into, hey, by the way, you're single and zero, great, you'll have money back at the end of the year. So that's the first thing you can change to get more cash flow, is to change the dependence for the job if you're working. Okay, that's number one. Number two is, once you increase your cash flow, there's another side, is most jobs, they want to go out there and you got to save. So the second thing is, the job is going to set you up for retirement. So you're going to take more money and put it into the one day someday account. Okay. Then you read a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. And once you read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, you realize that the employee and then turning a business is going to save taxes, self-employed. And this is kind of the beginning of the personal development reign. The personal development part of this is, I'm learning how to be my own boss. Inside the book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, he also talks about learning the skills of network marketing, also going out and attracting and finding people. But there's also a different scale of business. And the different scale of business is to attract the customers that want to do business with you. Okay. So I run a military. I run a Facebook group called Military to Millionaire. Military to Millionaire is, I had 20 years of military experience in 2 and 3 jobs, and when I went through this process of reading the book and learning about money, I chose the MLM pay structure. Now, I'm telling you, they say MLM, make little money, because it's true. You work for somebody else, you market for somebody else, you don't brand yourself, and it's very, very difficult to make the change into your own business. And when you do, now you've got to learn how to raise capital, and that capital structured into money making money is you're investing in yourself. So the same principle happens as a for me, a business owner, real estate investor, is that you take the money that you raise and you put it into money making more money. So that's principle number 2, is to understand that the education or the financial system has divided you from your money. Okay. It's divided you from your money. And so when you switch from saving for retiring to switch to cash flow, business owner, and understanding that there's a very simple way to do this, very, very simple way to do this. Number one, credit is a tool. When you understand credit, then you also understand that there's different banking products to get out of debt. And when you re-engineer the debt and to get out of debt, you can get to it very, very, very quickly. That also increases your credit score. So let me talk about, because I own a credit repair company and I like to help people with their first principle of credit. So credit and debt are the first two principles before business ownership, branding, and scaling and automating your business to real estate investing. Okay. These are the seven day investor blueprint. And if you'd like the recording, go to buyandholdchallenge.com/7 day blueprint. Or if you'd like real estate investing help, I train twice a week at buyandholdchallenge.com. Buyandholdchallenge.com is that I help people get involved in real estate investing. But before you get involved in investing, there's some huge things you got to learn about money. Credit is a tool, and credit is a tool to get out of debt. So going back to Josh's story. So Josh came to me, it was $250,000 in debt. I said, James, why do you travel so much? And why do you not have to pay that much taxes? And I said, because I turned my life into a tax deduction using the principles that the wealthy and that live off of. So what I did was I taught him, let's re-engineer your debt using the tools that you already have. And so Josh, in his fourth month, he was completely debt free. Now, how did that happen? Well, if you want the training, it's buyandholdchallenge.com /7 day blueprint, 7 day blueprint. And what we did was we got a line of credit, a tool, and we turned his house into his checkbook. Now, it's somebody's, this is going to be crazy. Imagine your house being a checkbook. Okay. If you own a house, what if you could pay off the house very, very, very fast? Okay. That's what I helped Josh do. I helped him pay off his house extremely fast. It was actually 4 months. He was completely debt free, didn't get a second job. He didn't get sold into some freaking MLM. It didn't get sold into, crypto or anything like that. He just re-engineered his money with my help. We got the tools necessary. We took all of his money and rearranged it, and let alone he was out of debt in 4 months. Now, his path was be debt free in 8 to 12 months, but he was completely debt free in 4 months. Now, imagine that you are completely debt free. You own a house that's worth $200,000, and it's time to turn the money that you have as a tool into more money. So Josh ended up going out and said, look, I said, do you want to leave your job, or do you want to starting a business, firing your boss, or do you want to use your job as a resource to go buy and hold more real estate? So we can get into buy and hold real estate using your tool of your house, and I can help you become a millionaire. So, military to millionaire, broke, the mindset of tools, then business, and then business into real estate investing. And this is what are the steps of the 7 day investor blueprint. And the 7 day investor blueprint is, where are you at within the structure? So he had a lot of money, but it was all sourced into retirement accounts. He was trying to save. He said, I'm going to be completely debt free in 8 to 12 years. And he was completely debt free in 4 months. 4 months, he was completely debt free. Now, so imagine yourself, you've got the debt, but then you're debt free and you've got a house that you have paid for. Now, what do you have to do at that point? Well, you've got to go in debt to get out of debt. This is crazy, but that's the next step. So you take money, and for those that, like when I got started in real estate investing, I didn't have any money and I didn't have a house and probably had a 550 credit score. So I went out there, found the real estate first, then I borrowed the money for the real estate, and then I turned that into fixing and flipping and then into buy and hold. So if you're listening, my name, by the way, it's good to see some people joining us. My name is James Leese. I am a business owner after a 20-year military career, and I understand what it feels like to work paycheck to paycheck, But I have been a 19-year entrepreneur, business owner, real estate investor, and I've been mentoring thousands of students in that space. Before people get involved in real estate investing in business, they have to understand finances. And finances is the key to understanding how to get out of debt, how to scale and start and expand a business, and then how to use money to make money. Now, money making money is that you have to learn how to borrow money. So if you've been to college, then you can be extremely wealthy based on the principles of what college has taught you. Number one, you choose a career. So if you want to be rich instead of with a job, then you choose a different value. And what I mean by that is you choose the value of freedom over security. Okay. Security over free, I mean, freedom over security. Now, once you change the value, you have to change the rules that you play within the value system. Okay. Now, so the view of the rules of freedom is cash flow instead of saving or accumulation. So we change the belief, then we change or the value, then we change the rules to the value. So if you want freedom, financial freedom, then the first principle is okay, instead of saving for retirement, save one day someday, I'm going to switch into money making money. Okay. That changes the philosophy because a lot of people have been sold on a freaking book of goods and they don't go into really understanding the core values and the core philosophies of money. Okay. So change the value, security to freedom, then change the principles or the rules, accumulation to cash flow. And now we have the basic infrastructure of the 7-day investor blueprint. Number one, mindset. That's what I just went over. The mindset is that you have to shift your principles and the values and the rules to the game before you move to the next phase, which is credit and debt. Credit and debt. And if you've done everything that your financial planner has said, your banker has said, okay, so one of the problems, let's key on the problems. So if you have a checking account and a savings account, you are in two investment vehicles that are not giving you the return on your investment because you put money in and they give you pennies back. So you change and you move into what is known as a line of credit. Now, line of credit is a reverse savings account. And if used properly, you can get out of debt doing it. You can pay off the mortgage and you can do that extremely well. So if you go to buyandholdchallenge.com/7-day blueprint, then I'll go into detail on how Josh got out of debt extremely fast. Now, how does that work? Well, instead of having a checking account and a savings account, you have a tool called a line of credit. This line of credit is the tool that you can use, and it can be your house. Now, this is crazy. How do you pay off the house using the tools of debt? Well, a line of credit works just like a checking account, and most people don't know that. So that's how you would rearrange the debt, and from there, start to move into the next phase. The next phase is now getting into business. Okay, business capital. So if you have a 700 credit score, all you have to do is choose to be a business owner. And the minute that you choose to be a business owner, now you have the ability to get into the legal structure of setting up your business. If done fast and with the 700 credit score, you could have access to about $50,000 in about 2 to 3 weeks. Now we're not using your personal credit anymore. We're using a business credit. And this is where sourcing somebody and handing somebody 50,000 is that this is the first principle of business is to use business capital. Business capital. And when you use business capital, you're not using your personal capital. And you can go get more and more and more business capital to scale your business while the business goes in debt. So just like college, people are like, oh, well, I went to college. Great. You probably have student loan debt, and the student loan debt is directly connected to the amount of money you want to make in the security world. But as an entrepreneur, you're now in the entrepreneur world, you're in business, and you have business credit which is 0%. Usually that's for 12 to 18 months. So now you have a business, now you have the capital, and it's separate. It's separate. This is your business. This is your personal. So the four quadrants, if you didn't see this yet, okay, this is below the line, above the line, short term, long term. Okay. So when you're doing this, this is really, it's just the principles of understanding how to become extremely wealthy because they wrote the rules. Okay. This is where most people play down here and you moving everything up here. So when I talk about business credit is up here. You don't need a Paydex score. You don't need a net 30 account. You don't need to be in business for 2 years. You don't need 3 months bank statements to get access to $50,000, 30 to 70,000, just like this. It's very, very simple. Let me give you an example of a triplex that I just purchased. And I didn't use any of my money. I just used my credit. So when online, I went out of state. I'm in California and cash flowing properties are not here. So I went out and found a property in Pennsylvania. It was for $115,000. It was a triplex. Okay. Now, if you've ever wanted to buy real estate and cash flow and you're in one of these areas, what I'm teaching you right now is that you could go out there and buy real estate, live in one of the units, and get paid by the other two. Now, and if you're in that area and you want to buy real estate, I always like to recommend this is the way to do it. So I went out and found a property, and just using my credit score, I went out and looked at the property. It was going to produce $2,300 worth of cash flow, and it was only for 115,000. Now, if you connect the dots, it once I got a loan on it, the loan was $859. 859, 2,300 bucks. Now, where did the down payment money come from? I don't have time to go into it, but I closed it with cash using everybody else's money. And in at 2 months, I refinanced it. But the ability to start a business um, and get access to the capital is the down payment of what I used to do it. So I closed it, I tenanted it. While I was tending it, I refinanced it, and I started a brand new company. I guess this is the point I was going to make. Started a brand new company, got qualified using a credit score, started a brand new company, raised $65,300, and ended up getting a triplex that cash flows just under 1,000 bucks with using none of my own money. Now, so the principles of scaling this, and this is why I'm teaching this in the marketplace. So many people are freaking sold a box of goods, education, no support system, and they don't understand the concepts of money making money. Okay. So, so in this world of step three, business and business capital is that's where you start to look at branding yourself. What do you really want to create? Do you want to be a coach? Um, do you want to, well, let's just put it in perspective. Do you want to make 100% commission being a coach and help people? Do you want to make 50% commission by going with some network marketing company or 11 cents or 11%? So when you choose a career as a business, you could be a realtor, you could be a loan officer, you could be in sales. But you got to look at when you're in business, what type of brand do you want to create? And this is so critically important. So critically important. And by the way, those that are online, just let me know. Are you a business owner or an employee? Oh, and by the way, if you have any questions, I should have told you. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions about money, business, real estate, branding. As I own a real estate company, I'm a coach around capital. I'm also a real estate investor, and I have scaled into a marketing agency so I can help people, depending on where they're at, help them start and launch their coaching business. So depending on, what question, I'd be more than happy to answer it to create value for you while you're here. So if you're online and you have a question regarding anything you've ever wanted to know, I'll go ahead and answer it as long as I can see the question and I got my eyeballs on. so, so, all right, Paxton, good to see you, Black and Linda. Um, So let me continue. Um, Real estate investing from a short term. Okay, well, let me before I get into the brand. Step 3 about business is in the 7-day investor blueprint. And if you'd like to go through the training and learn how to get out of debt, it's buyandholdchallenge.com/7-day blueprint. 7-day blueprint. Now, buy and hold challenge, I do train on Monday and on Thursday live with my real estate investor group. I teach and train people on how to become a real estate investor. Okay. And we teach and go through deals that we're working on right now. I've got 7 deals going on right now. Currently, it's pretty phenomenal. Um, I flip in Colorado. I flip in Indiana. 2 triplexes in Pennsylvania. Um, a California property that we're going to fix and flip into a buy and hold. And there's 3 notes on the table, loan notes that we're going to, looking at purchasing. So lots of real estate going on, but also I definitely like helping people around their finances so they can actually learn to be a business owner and to scale it and to be a real estate investor. And that's what makes me a lot different because I was military for 20 years and I understand we're working 2 and 3 jobs. It sucks. It absolutely sucks. I had the right side of my body went paralyzed for 2 hours and at the age of 32. So if you're a hard worker and but you're not getting anywhere, it's probably because you're using the wrong business. You're connected to the wrong company. I'm also I understand what network marketing is. I'm also a multi 7-figure income earner in network marketing, only to watch the compensation plan change and only to see that COVID happen and all the offices closed. So if you want pain, I definitely been down that road where being in network marketing and a 7-figure income earner and watch it just freaking go overnight, gone. Is that's what I mean about branding with the right company. Okay, branding with the right company. Now, once you have your capital, you pick your industry that you want to do, and you'd like to go and scale it, then you use your business capital and then you go into automation. And this is where a lot of people in network marketing or in business, they don't scale into using virtual assistants, automation, and learning all these new tools. Like, man, this is my first time going live. And so I'm learning how to connect with you. I'm learning how to go to YouTube. But this has been a passion of mine because I love teaching and training other people from the core mistakes of what they're going to learn, how to make sure that they don't have it happen. Or if you're struggling right now, you're struggling with lead generation, or you're struggling with automation, or you're struggling with capital. So in the personal development work in the world, as I asked 2 questions to answer this question. What's not working? And what's missing? That's the number 1 question. What's missing out of your life? And the next question is what's not working? When you answer those 2 questions, it usually will kind of bring in what's missing in your life. Well, I like to travel. I want more sex. I want more money. What's missing? So that missing also is connected to an energy, your being. And your being is also the way you're shifting in consciousness or where you're going. So that means that a lot of people that are in lack, neglect, or that means they vibrate on a lower level. They're in blame, shame, guilt, and they're not manifesting. So the other side of it is being in gratitude and love and fulfilling and giving back. So my charity is I like to educate people about what's really working in today's market from business ownership and real estate investing. Oh, I think I see a question. Um, no, by the way, Chachani gave me number 1 badge. I love this. It's the first time understanding TikTok and badges. So my thank you to that and the loves of coming in. So appreciate that from my heart, mind, and soul. And if you want to ask a question based on anything in money, business, real estate investing, from any strategy, I would be honored to be able to answer that for you. Answer any question that you have. and be able to help you out wherever you're at in business. Okay. So as I was talking about the 7-day investor blueprint, if you go to buyandholdchallenge.com, I educate everybody on Monday and on Thursday with our real estate investor group. But the 7-day investor blueprint, or the 7 things, is mindset, then it's credit and debt, then it's business capital and branding, then it's on number 4, it's scaling and marketing. 5, it's real estate investing, which is short term, um, wholesaling, buy and hold, and then number 6 is buy and hold, um, and the last one, buy and hold, is money lending. And then number 7 is your plan. Okay, your plan. So those are the 7-day investor blueprint. And going through that is what I really like is that wherever you're at in the process, then you look at what's missing and what's not working. And if you answer those questions, what's missing and what's not working, then you can create the solution to the problem at which you want. So let's say if you want more money and more time, then if you have a job, you got to restructure and go, okay, do I have money? Do I not have money? Do I own a house? Do I not own a house? What's my credit score? Do I have access to resources? Do I have access? I always like to say a 17-year-old go to college, spend $500,000 and never have a job and a zero credit score, and get all the knowledge and education because they learned how to borrow the resources that was able to get them to what they wanted to do and get them to where they wanted to go. And that's where being resourceful is the key to becoming extremely wealthy. And so when you look at your current situation, what's missing, what's not working, and what do you want, then you can create a plan, very simple, to get over the bridge. And it doesn't take long unless you pick the wrong company, the wrong brand. And this is what's extremely valuable. So, um, in the learning curve. So, if you don't have any, I want to say, so let me review and then I'm going to jump. But I love educating and having people jump on. Say hi. All right, clicking on. So, the one I reviewed is the 7-day investor blueprint. If you are interested in real estate investing, go to buyandholdchallenge.com. And then there's a training I do Monday and Thursday that's live. If you'd like to get out of debt and you'd like the 7-day blueprint, go to buyandholdchallenge.com/, the number 7, the word day, and blueprint, and you can get the training and fully on how to get out of debt, how I help Josh. So, that being said, I am excited to be here, connect with you. And just before I leave, is there any questions that you guys might have on TikTok? And I'm loving this because I got the opportunity to do TikTok and live and just kind of learn and connect and do what I really love. And that's share my education, my soul, and my mentorship with you guys. And if you are interested in more, then go to buyandholdchallenge.com and I'll be more than happy to get connected with you. My name is James Lease. I'm 20-year Air Force military. And so thank you for all the people that are online for your service, especially first responders, um, police, fire department, even church people, first responders. You know what? Those that give their life for the others, that's where my heart's at. And and then if you want to get involved in business, now you've got me, because as a 20-year military career, working 2 and 3 jobs, not making a lot of money, I got out, immediately went to 6 figures, and I never looked back. So the freedom of being your own boss is understanding the principles. Principles. Number 1, mindset. 2, credit and debt. 3, capital in business. Number 4 is branding yourself, scaling your business and automating it, and having other people work for you, which is virtual assistants. Then you switch into real estate short term, and that's wholesale and flipping, and then buy and hold, long term buy and hold, and money lending. And the principles of wealth create, everybody has learned how to do this. The money lending is how you become extremely wealthy. Why? Because a lot of people, they have money in CDs, they have money in a retirement accounts, and they're not connected to monthly cash flow. Okay. When I educate people on the difference between you're investing, but you're not making any money at the end of the month, well, let's change that a little bit. Let me teach you how to do it in real estate. What I do is I borrow money and I give people a percentage, and I teach them how to have monthly cash flow coming in from connecting it to an asset. That asset can be in real estate investing, it could be a house, first position, second position. And if you want to Google this, deed of trust investing. So I borrow money, I secure it to houses, and then that house or that business makes more money, in turn paying off the debt. Well, if you've been to college, then you understand the same principle, just taught in a different way. Go to school, then go to college, increase your knowledge, invest. That's the difference between invest into you and your job to investor, investing into cash flow. So you invest and then you go out there and get all the tools necessary to get to your job. That could be the internet, that could be your phone, that could be your car. All those are investments into your business or your job. And then you get to your job when you get your paycheck. And I was telling everybody earlier, so your paycheck is the problem. Okay. The first thing in the economic system was when you get paid, who gets paid first? Government. Government gets paid first. That's a huge, if you're a business owner, we pay ourselves first, and then we give the government what's left over legally. Okay. So the first one is the government gets paid. The second one is you're taking your cash flow and you're putting it in the one day someday account. And this is tough. You're putting it in the one day someday account, which means you're investing, but you're not investing for monthly cash flow. So if you were work with me, you would invest, but you would be investing into you getting a monthly return. Now, look, if you want to find out what's a really good investment, look at what the way the banks create a structure for what is called as a mortgage. So when you borrow money, or when I borrow it to make more money. And if you own a house right now, who gets paid first? Well, number one, the taxes. Number two, the insurance. And number three, the the banker, and the banker's getting paid on interest. So how much interest though? If you have a 6% mortgage, the 6% mortgage is actually 120% front end loaded. All you got to do is look at your amortization schedule on your financial sheet. Now, how do you get out of debt pretty freaking fast? If you have a house, then understanding how to use lines of credit to pay off the house and convert those lines of credit into your checking account. So that means that you don't have a checking account and a savings account. You have what is known as a line of credit. And we operate that as the way to be able to maximize efficiency and peace of mind and position yourself to have a 700 plus credit score, because then we can transfer that 700 credit score into buying real estate, into setting up a business, and getting access to business capital. Access to business capital. And this is where a lot of people, you move from a job to getting out of the job, is because your business capital, college tuition, same thing, is now going in and investing into money. One's a job, it's called security, and the other one's called freedom. Freedom. Now, that freedom is a value system of money making money, just like college. You borrow money, you invest that money into you, into your knowledge, just like college. And then you take that knowledge and then you invest it into the principles of money making money. What are that? Well, that's being a business owner. So would you like to be a coach? Okay, well, let me give you one of my learning curves that I did. I thought that being a business owner was being a realtor. Okay. So I picked a company called Coldwell Banker when I got started learning this concept. And they said, oh, you got to go get a license. All right. So what does that mean? Well, you got to invest. All right. So I went in and I invested into the knowledge. Great. Then what else? Then you have to invest in all the tools. Great. Then you got to go out and take your nights and weekends and work with clients. And I was like, this ain't a business. I'm doing all the work. and I'm taking my own money and I'm paying for everything. Well, I teach people like, look, if you want a business, take what your resources are, then create the business plan, get the capital for your business plan, and then scale your business. So that would be like, hey, I'm going to partner with a broker. I'm going to recruit other agents to work for me, and I'm going to scale. That would be an agent business. Now, I'm not an agent anymore. I'm a real estate investor because I found that all agents work for real estate investors. Well, not all of them, but the ones that want to help investors expand their cash flow. So, and let me hit on something. When I was in real estate, even though I was real estate as an agent, even owned a real estate company, the main focus wasn't on the end result, like buy and hold challenge. Buy and hold challenge means when you want to focus on your passive income. Okay. What is that? What is that number that when you go out there and get that number, passive income number, what's that number that would give you economic independence? And I found for most people, if you had $10,000 a month coming in over and over and over, you probably would live a different life. But where is it that they teach anything in the system or the education or out there to focus on the end result number, not which is the passive income number? So if you want passive income, then focus on what number that is when you sleep. Now, a lot of people sell a lot of freaking goods out there. Passive income, network marketing is, oh my God, what's the fake it till you make it? And then, oh, I can't even remember. Um, passive income. I always go passive income, but um, it's blanking my brain. So if you guys know what that is, what I'm trying to say, just go ahead and type it in there. Residual income. I got it. And somebody goes, "Oh, you got residual income." Well, be a couple $1 million income maker and watch the comp plan change in a company and literally watch your residual income go to a residual freaking lie. Why? Because they changed the comp plan. COVID happened. The mortgage industry came. Something happened that residual income was the residual freaking lie. And so I've been down that road. By the way, I've been through 5 network marketing companies. 4 of them had closed, and the last one changed their comp plan, and COVID happened. Which, um, if you ever wanted to make 7 figures plus and then watch your income go to zero, that's why I preach passive income, and business income. And if you'd like to create residual or passive, you can actually do that by being a coach. If you want to become a coach, have people pay for digital products on a monthly basis, create something of value that somebody can pay you $49 a month and you can create value for them, which is something that is very, very easily done in today's market. So, and then you can start to scale that residual income. So, that being said, my name is James Lease, buyandholdchallenge.com. If you'd like to be trained on becoming a business owner, real estate investor, or if you're having problems in the marketplace where you don't have enough capital, you're not getting enough leads, you don't have enough automation, you want to scale your business through virtual assistants, then all these are business principles that solve what's missing, what's not working. So if you know what's on your mind most of the time, that's usually what's missing. I don't have enough sex. Well, it's what's missing. I don't have enough love. That's what's missing. I don't travel enough. I don't have enough money. Whatever is what's missing is probably what you should focus on the most to solve. And for a lot of people, well, from what I've experienced, the people that don't have also aren't vibrating on a level. They're vibrating on guilt, shame, blame, instead of love, gratitude, and creating. Okay. But by going through and saying it again, the value system, the belief system is that there's a shift in energy, what I just covered. But then also you have to have a shift in belief. What's the belief? Your value system. Security, freedom. Security, freedom, financial freedom. Okay? So if you once you change the principle, now you've got to change the rules or the value. Now you got to change the principles or the rules to the value. This is what's that most people don't do. So if I'm operating and want to be a business owner, but I'm operating with the word of security and I use the old way of doing finances, then I can't get ahead in life because I'm using different value systems, belief systems, and principles. And it's like if you remember a Commodore 64 trying to do the computer system today and you're operating on an old system. So that's why the value, the belief, and the money system has to be in alignment to your business systems. And once it's done, that's the 7-day investor blueprint. So if you go to buyandholdchallenge.com, I educate every Monday and Thursday. I'm going to actually be educating today at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, educating people on how to get out of debt extremely fast. So if you're interested in starting or launching a business, you'd like to know more about the 7-day investor blueprint, and from a business owner and real estate investor, I can teach you how to do that. And go to buyandholdchallenge.com, and I will look forward to seeing you at 4 o'clock. Now, what will I be covering? Again, the 7 principles: mindset, credit and debt, then access to business capital and starting a business. Number 4, scaling that business, scaling it, using the money in your business, scaling it to change the philosophy instead of saving for retirement, money making money. So let's say you put, let's just give you an example. If you put $1,000 in and at the end of the month you make 500, but you make 500 every single month for the entire year. That means you put 1,000 in, got 6,000 back. Your investment is 5 times what you put into it. Now, a lot of people aren't trained this way. They go, okay, I'm going to put money in the stock market. Okay. So how much money do you make per month by putting your money in the stock market? The answer is zero. Means no cash flow. Well, if you're not creating cash flow, then you can't scale your money making money. Okay, that's how you get out of debt faster. That's how you fuel into money making money. And it's phenomenal once you start the snowball effect, money making money, and then you borrow more money to make more money, and then you make more money to borrow more money to make more money. It's just that's what a doctor does to become a doctor. They borrow to become a doctor. But in this world, you're borrowing money to make more money. So as a real estate investor, yes, I'm going to take a little bit of money and put it into buy and hold real estate or fixing and flipping. For example, I have a deal in Colorado right now. I bought for $570,000. I might as well teach you some wholesaling and some fixing and flipping while you guys are here. So, fixing and flipping. So love that. And by the way, somebody knows where I was last night. All right. That's funny. So the first thing fixing and flipping is that I found an opportunity where seller was kind of in trouble. Okay. The value of that property after putting about 250,000 is worth about 101.3 million. So I negotiated and I said, look, I'll pay cash for your property at $570,000. And just like a doctor investing $500,000 and waiting 12 years, I'm going to buy a business called a fix and flip. I'm going to borrow the entire money for the 570. And once I borrow it, then the rehab money is all in. So that's all considered part of the hard money and private money sector. You don't write a check out of your checkbook. You create the money used for your business plan. That money used for your business plan is called a fix and flip. And then you fix up the property and you put it back on the market and you sell it. Once you sell it, you pay off your debt. Now, how does that work in the traditional system? If you went to college, you didn't have a credit score and you didn't have it, you had to find the resources you borrowed and you got the money for your education. You borrowed to go to college. And then once you got your degree, you became the best salesperson because then you went and got the job. And once you got the job, you paid back off the student loan debt. Okay. The student loan debt was where the money came from. But you did it based on the money making money concept. And a lot of people, they're doing that, but they can't pay off their student loan debt because they're trying to save. Okay, I'm putting money in my one day someday account. I'm putting money into my life and I'm paying off my debt, my car debt, my house debt, my student loan debt, and all the money is being divided and it's not maximizing the performance. Why? I love this. Why the business owners, Federal Reserve, created the most amazing business plan is that they would just print money to go out there and scale. That's why the debt of our society is so high, but it's only paper. It's only paper debt. But the business of creating paper is called the Federal Reserve. Now, once they learned that the bankers got in, they said, "How can we make more money based on borrowing more money?" So then they leveraged the banks to borrow the money. They created the amortization schedule for loans and they created home ownership for people to pay taxes, to pay interest, and to put their money into their asset called their house while they're taking money because there's no money left over. They got to put it in a retirement account. They're putting it in the insurance account. They're putting it in their savings account and they're putting it in their checking account. And what's left over is no cash flow. So, changing the philosophy of security into freedom now changes the principles of leveraging your money into making more money. And a lot of people out there are telling you the wrong things to do because their belief system isn't aligned to your belief system, which is flipping amazing. I love that. Pyramid scheme. You know what's the pyramid scheme? Whatever is on the top and whatever's on the bottom. That's the government, the banking system, or the government, the military, 4-star, 5-star general, 4-star general, 3-star general, 2-star general. By the way, the pyramid scheme in the employee sector is that's the CEO, that's the vice president, that's the president, that's the secretary. Pyramid schemes are whatever you choose to be part of, wherever you're at in your scheme. That's what's awesome. And if I ask you what's missing and what's not working, your scheme probably has a boss, or your scheme is that you're not where you want to be because of the fact that even saying the word even just creates a structure, security, structure, instead of freedom and financial freedom, which the principles of money making money is. So, my name's James Leese. If you're interested, more information, go to buyandholdchallenge.com. I educate every Monday and every Thursday, and I love helping people. I own a credit repair business. I'm a coach on getting people access to business capital. I help people set up their entities and get access to the capital. I also own a marketing agency. So we help people scale using automation. And then we connect that to business ownership and then real estate investing. So everybody's a little bit different. So whatever you're missing and what's not working, I would be more than honored to be able to set up a time with you to be able to enjoy. So jameslease.com is also a place where you can go set up an appointment. Love to connect with you, find out where you're at, 30-minute appointment, and to see if I can be of assistance. That being said, you'll see me go live more often. Love to have you join me. And that being said, if you have any questions, one more last time, any questions that you might have that I might be able to serve and help you right now, just ask any business question, real estate question, automation question, software question. What question could help you right now? And if I don't see a question, then I'm going to pop off. All right. Maybe I'm in this where the chat is not there. Maybe I'm not seeing the chat comments. Oh, maybe that's maybe what I see. Maybe you guys are asking questions. This is the first time on, so I'm on a roll. I'm liking this. Nope, no questions. But I see everybody joined. And by the way, great seeing how many people joined. I'm so excited. This was awesome. So go out and create an amazing day. Love you guys, and love all the stuff that's going on with mine. So I appreciate you. Love you guys, and make sure you're creating the best life ever. Take care, everyone. Bye bye for now. Oh, that was it.